You don't need money to be wealthy. Yes, I know how strange, even unbelievable, that may sound to many. But if you'll pause for a moment and truly receive this message, you may step through a new doorway. One where wealth is no longer tied to your wallet or bank account, but flows from the frequency you radiate in every thought, every word, and every quiet belief held in your heart. Dear friend, most of us grew up believing that in order to have money, we must work hard, pinch every penny, endure and sacrifice. That only the lucky ones or those born into money get to live in ease and abundance. But Florence Scovel Shinn, a spiritual pioneer teacher of the law of attraction and the power of the spoken word, proved otherwise. She believed you don't need money to begin becoming wealthy. You simply need belief, right words, and a mind open to miracles. She called your words your magic wand. And you, not anyone else, are creating your reality moment by moment through the words you speak over and over again. If you often say things like, "I don't have enough, I can't make it, I'm broke," what happens? Life reflects that frequency of lack, worry, and limitation. But if you begin to affirm money flows to me easily and continuously, I am always abundantly provided for in every situation, what changes? You enter a new energetic space where you attract rather than chase, where you create your reality instead of reacting to it. And here's the miracle: you don't need money to begin that shift. Florence never taught people how to get rich quick. She taught how to live in lasting prosperity from the inside out. She emphasized that when you reconnect with your divine design, everything you need, money, opportunities, guidance, ideas, partners, will show up in the right way at the right time. Have you ever noticed some people are always struggling financially, no matter how much they earn? And others seem to magnetize support, luck, and open doors, even if they started with nothing. The difference isn't in their circumstances. It lies within. In the unseen beliefs they carry. Florence once said, "Your word is your wand. Every time you speak, you plant a seed for tomorrow. So, what are you planting today? Are you still repeating words born from old limiting beliefs? Or are you ready to choose a new way of living, where you affirm what you desire? Align with your intuition and trust in miracles over mathematics." In today's video, we'll open the door to the prosperity that already lives inside you. I'll share 5 key teachings from Florence Scovel Shinn, principles that have helped thousands break free from the fear of not having enough and step into both inner and outer abundance without needing to start with money. You'll learn how to use your words to transform your circumstances. You'll understand how a tiny mustard seed of faith can shift an entire reality. And most importantly, you'll realize true wealth doesn't begin in your wallet. It begins in your mind. Stay with me, because what comes next may just change the way you see, think, and speak about money forever. Are you ready to begin the journey? True wealth begins in the mind, not in your assets. Dear friend, we live in a world where self-worth is often measured by the numbers in a bank account, where congratulations usually begin with, "How much did you make?" instead of "How are you truly living?" But Florence Scovel Shinn came to remind us of a deeper truth that many have forgotten. Wealth does not begin with money. It begins with thought. You could have nothing in your pocket yet. If your mind is filled with faith, rich imagery, and gratitude, you are already sowing the seeds of prosperity to come. On the other hand, you could possess many material things, but if your heart is ruled by fear, anxiety, and doubt, you are still living in a false sense of lack. Wealth, or poverty, is a frequency, not a fixed state. Florence called the mind the magic planting ground. What you think of often, you will eventually see. What you visualize as already present begins to take form. Which means this: you don't have to wait until you have money to live like someone who's wealthy. You must begin to live like someone who's wealthy, and money will start to find its way to you. And by wealthy, we don't just mean rich in possessions. We mean spacious, peaceful, grateful, and deeply trusting that life is always working in your favor. Florence once helped a woman who had just $2 left to her name. By awakening faith within her, guiding her to speak positive affirmations, and to imagine her wallet always being jammed with money. Not long after, this woman received an unexpected financial gift. She didn't beg money to come. She attracted it with the vibration of trust. Here's the key. You cannot become wealthy while still thinking like someone who is poor. The mind is where everything begins. You must adjust your inner frequency to match the frequency of abundance. So let me ask you, what are you saying to yourself each day? I never have enough. I can't do that because I don't have the money. The world is so harsh. Or are you beginning to affirm things like, I am always divinely guided? Money flows to me from unexpected sources. I live in the stream of abundance. Whichever words you choose, your life will follow. Imagine you are a magnet, and every thought you emit is a signal from that magnet. If you emit lack, you attract debt, delay, and limitation. If you emit gratitude, readiness, and openness, you draw in opportunities, ideas, support, and money. This doesn't mean you sit around waiting. Florence never taught passive hoping. She taught you to act on intuition, speak the right words, and hold the mental image as if it were already real. When you change your thoughts, everything changes. No one has to hand you money for your journey to begin. The real beginning is when you tell yourself, I deserve a life of abundance, and I begin living that way, from within. Start with the simplest step. Choose new thoughts, new words, new inner dialogue. Because thought is the cradle of every outcome. As Florence once wrote, you do not have to change the outer world. Change your inner world, and the outer will follow. And you are not alone on this path. Thousands are awakening, learning to master thought in order to change their lives. If something in this message stirred your heart, I invite you to leave a comment below. I begin to plant prosperous thoughts. Who knows, that declaration may be the first seed of a miraculous harvest in your life. Tag a friend, someone who needs to hear this, and let's restore belief together. And if you feel yourself resonating with Florence's message, just wait. The next part is even more powerful. We'll talk about the invisible magic wand already resting in your mouth, and how you can use it to call miracles into being. See you in part 2. Your word is a magic wand for prosperity. Dear friend, if your thoughts are the seeds planted in the garden of your subconscious, then your words are the water, the sunlight, the very miracle that causes those seeds to rise and bloom. Florence Scovel Shinn once said, your word is your wand. Your spoken word is not just sound. It is a magic wand with the power to create or destroy, to open the path to abundance, or keep you trapped in cycles of lack. Imagine standing before a great door, one that is locked. But in your hand you hold a wand, and all it takes is the right password, spoken with clarity and belief, for that door to open wide. Florence called these passwords affirmations, positive declarations. Every word you speak is a command to your subconscious mind, and the subconscious does not argue. It does not ask if something is true or false. It simply follows. If you constantly say things like, I don't have enough, I'm never lucky, I'm afraid I won't make it, you are using your wand to create scarcity, delay, and fear. But if you begin to say, I am always richly provided for, I am a magnet for opportunity, I live in the flow of abundance, you are opening new doors. Not just with effort, but through the vibration your words release into the universe. There was once a woman who came to Florence with only $2 left in her purse. Instead of focusing on lack, they spoke these words together. My purse is never empty. It is always jammed with money, gold, and colorful banknotes. She didn't see money right away, but she felt it. She spoke of it as if it had already come. And then, like a divine play of the universe, she received a large and unexpected financial gift. What mattered wasn't how the money came, but that it came because she called it with faith and the power of her spoken word. Have you noticed, when you repeat something negative over and over, it often ends up happening? That's no coincidence, that's law. And the beautiful part is that law works in both directions. If you speak of what you desire often enough, vividly enough, with real feeling, you will begin to see it take shape. Florence taught never speak of what you do not wish to see manifest. Speak only what you desire, no matter how different your current circumstances may look. This is not about denial, it's about realignment, tuning your vibration to match the future you are calling in. For instance, if you're worried about not having enough to pay a bill, instead of saying, "I don't have enough," pause. Take a deep breath and affirm, "All my bills are paid in full and on time in unexpected and perfect ways." Say it with full belief, as if it has already happened. Each time you speak like this, you're building an invisible bridge, one that connects who you are now to the prosperous version of you already waiting to unfold. And here's the miracle: you can begin this today, right now, with no money at all. You only need to begin choosing your words like the finest seeds for your life's garden. Just imagine each morning, instead of sighing. Another hard day, you declare, "I choose a day filled with positive energy, unexpected opportunities, and love." You don't have to believe it right away. Just repeat it. As Florence said, if you don't believe it, yet speak as though you do, the feeling will follow. And once emotion meets word, the magic wand begins to glow. And you're not alone. Thousands of people are starting each day with new affirmations, using their words to heal, to guide, to change their lives. If something in this message sparked light in your heart, leave a comment. I am using my words to open the doors of prosperity. We, a community walking in the spirit of Florence, welcome you with belief and support. You can also share this message with someone who needs to remember the power is still within them, and it begins with the words they speak. And if you're wondering, what exactly should I say? What affirmations attract wealth and abundance into my life? Don't go anywhere. In the next part, I'll share Florence's most powerful prosperity affirmations and how you can turn them into a daily habit that transforms your financial future. Faith as small as a mustard seed, a miracle strong enough to shift reality. Dear friend, when you hear words like wealth abundance or miracles happening in someone's life, perhaps a quiet voice within you still says, "But I don't really believe, and I understand." Florence Scovel Shinn understood too. It's not always easy for us humans to believe in what we cannot yet see, especially when we've faced failure, financial hardship, or repeated disappointment. We often find ourselves standing at the edge of faith, where everything seems out of reach. But Florence once wrote, "You don't need great faith to begin. You only need faith the size of a mustard seed, and that alone can shift your whole reality." Do you know how small a mustard seed is? So tiny you could blow it away with a single breath. But once planted in soil, nourished by light and water, it grows into something strong and tall. Florence compared faith to that, a small seed filled with powerful potential. You don't need to feel completely certain to begin. You just need to be willing to try. On the path to prosperity, there will be moments when you cannot see the full way ahead. You may only see the first step. But if you take that step with faith, the universe begins arranging the rest. One of Florence's students once said, "I'm not sure this will work for me, but I'm willing to believe a little." And it was in that simple willingness that the miracles began. She started receiving unexpected calls, surprise invitations, last-minute gifts, all because she had planted a mustard seed of faith in the soil of her consciousness. Florence taught us, when you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to check on it. You trust it will grow. Faith must be nurtured the same way. So imagine planting a tiny mustard seed named prosperity in your mind. Even if nothing appears to be changing yet, you still say, "I trust I am being guided." I believe everything I need is on its way. I know the right doors are opening, even if I can't see them yet. Each time you affirm this, even for just a few seconds a day, you are giving prosperity a path to reach you. And the miracle is that little bit of faith begins to grow stronger inside you. You don't need to shout. You don't need to force. You simply need to be steady in quiet trust, like gentle morning sunlight that helps a seed grow without noise. If you're in a tough season right now, money is tight, bills are mounting, direction feels unclear. Ask yourself this: can I choose to believe just a little? Not belief in the world, but belief in the invisible support that is always ready to catch you if you simply open your heart. And remember, faith is not a fleeting feeling. It is a choice you return to again and again. You might feel doubtful in the morning, but by noon you can return and say, I choose to believe again. That is the power you always have. Did you know each time you say, I choose to believe, even just a little, you are rewriting your future, one moment at a time? Share your story with our community by commenting. I begin with a small faith, and I open myself to miracles. Maybe you won't see anything today, but in writing those words and speaking them aloud, you've planted a very powerful seed. And you don't walk this road alone. Many others have stood where you are, and they began with something simple: a flicker of hope, a decision to believe, a single positive word. If this message touched your heart, send this video to someone who may be losing faith. Sometimes one gentle word at the right moment becomes the mustard seed that transforms a life. And if you're asking yourself, I already believe, but why hasn't my life changed yet? Stay with me. In the next part, I'll share a profound truth. Florence called the divine design your unique sacred path to lasting prosperity that was written just for you. The divine design, your unique path to abundance. Dear friend, there is something Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized time and time again, something we were rarely taught as children. Each of us carries a divine design, a unique blueprint written for our lives before we ever arrived on this earth. No two designs are alike. No two paths are meant to look the same. True prosperity isn't measured by how much you have compared to others, but by whether you are living in alignment with your design. You don't need to race the world. You don't need to copy anyone's journey. You only need to listen and walk the path that is yours, where all the miracles have already been prepared. Florence called this the divine design, a path where blessings flow naturally, where you no longer force outcomes, but receive them with grace. Imagine this: you were given a master plan for your life, intricate, detailed, perfect. But to see it, you must be still, you must listen, you must pause and ask, how do I truly want to live? What work makes me feel alive? Am I living in alignment with my soul's values? When you stray from that design, life begins to feel heavy, unnatural. You may earn money, yes, but it comes with strain, burnout, or a disconnection from your deeper self. But when you realign with your true path, money, opportunities, connections and inspiration arrive with ease, as if carried by an invisible current, lifting you forward. One woman came to Florence in despair. She had followed all the social rules, done everything right, but felt suffocated inside. Florence didn't tell her to try harder. She simply asked, what do you truly desire? After some time in stillness, the woman realized she longed to write, not sell insurance. And when she courageously returned to her true design, writing what lit her up, publishers began to notice. Money came, not through resistance, but through resonance. Florence taught there is no real success unless it is aligned with your divine design. And the beautiful thing is, you don't need to know the whole plan right now. You only need to know the next step. The universe will reveal your path one step at a time. Just like headlights on a dark road only illuminate the next few meters, but it's enough to keep going. If today you feel confused, unsure where you belong, uncertain how to become wealthy, this may be your invitation to return inward, to hear the real calling within. True wealth doesn't begin with strategy, it begins with honesty. You can start each morning by asking, what brings me lightness, clarity, and joy? And each time you do something that makes you feel alive, you're drawing closer to your divine design. That is where the miracles begin. Trust this. You were designed for success, in a way that is uniquely yours. Not by Instagram standards, not by someone else's model, but by the blueprint of your own soul. If something in this message made your heart beat differently, leave a comment. I choose to live in alignment with my divine design. Let this community be your circle of support, a place where you are heard, understood, and reminded. You don't need to be like anyone else. You only need to be you. And if you're wondering, but I've lived off track for too long, can I still return? The answer is yes. It takes only one decision, one affirmation, one first step. And in the next part, I'll show you how to move with intuition, what Florence called divine right action, where life no longer feels like effort, but like grace already in motion. Acting on intuition, walking in the divine flow of prosperity. Dear friend, after everything, after you've begun planting new thoughts, changing your words, awakening even the tiniest seed of faith, and returning to your divine design, there is one last piece, and it is essential. You must take action, but not frantic, fearful, or forced action. Florence Scovel Shinn called it divine action, action guided by a higher wisdom. This is not action born out of panic or pressure. It is action that rises quietly from within. It's not something you do because you have to, but because your heart gently knows now is the time. Intuition doesn't shout. It doesn't demand your attention like fear does. It whispers. And you can only hear it when you're willing to pause, breathe deeply, and truly listen. Have you ever had a quiet nudge? I should call that person today, or I feel like taking a different route than usual. And when you did, things somehow unfolded more smoothly. That's divine action. Florence once said, every action guided by divine intelligence produces results beyond expectation. So instead of asking, what should I do? Ask instead, what am I being guided to do today? This question opens the door to miracles, because you are no longer acting alone. You are now walking with spirit, the invisible force Florence spoke of, always ready to lead. One of Florence's students once found herself unsure which business path to take. She sat quietly and repeated the affirmation, I am divinely guided to the right action, at the right time, in the right place, in the right way. A gentle idea came to her, something she hadn't considered before. She followed it, even though it wasn't perfect or certain. And that small action led to a series of magical events, meetings, clients' unexpected income. Intuition doesn't ask for perfection. It only asks that you're willing to take the first step. Because when you begin to move, even a little, the universe responds. Doors begin to open. You don't need to do more, you just need to do what's right. Florence reminded us, only right action leads to right results. And right action can only come from a peaceful mind. Take a few quiet minutes each morning and ask your intuition. What action can I take today to move closer to my prosperity? And when the answer comes, even if it's as small as writing one email, texting a friend, or rearranging your workspace, trust it, follow it. Because when you take one step forward, the universe takes 10 toward you. If something in this message awakens something inside you, leave a comment. I am acting on intuition. And the universe is making a way for me. Share your first small action with our community so we can bless it with support and build a wave of collective intention. And if you've been delaying action because you feel I'm not ready, here's a gentle truth Florence once shared. Readiness does not come before action. Action creates readiness. So just begin. Take one small step, not from fear, but from a heart that is being guided. And don't go just yet. In the final part of this video, I'll walk you through the entire journey, from thought to word belief, to design, and finally to divinely inspired action, so that you don't just understand prosperity, you begin to live it in your everyday life. Closing the journey, opening a new door for you. Dear friend, if you've stayed with me until this very last moment, then perhaps, somewhere deep within, you already know true prosperity doesn't come from the outside. It awakens from within. You don't need a fortune to begin becoming wealthy. You simply need to shift how you see, how you think, how you speak, and how you believe in yourself. Here's what you've remembered today. Your thoughts are seeds planted into the fertile soil of your subconscious. Your words are your magic wand, calling miracles into form. Your faith, even as small as a mustard seed, can move your reality. Your divine design is unique, made just for you. No forcing, no comparison. And when you take action guided by intuition, you enter the sacred flow of life, where goodness is already waiting. You no longer need to strive to become prosperous. You only need to remember you were designed for prosperity. Everything Florence ever taught revolves around one radiant truth. The best, the most beautiful, the truest, is yours if you will receive it by faith. So pause for a moment, place your hand on your heart, and ask yourself, am I ready to receive? If the answer is yes, then your new journey has already begun. And I, along with this beautiful community, am here to walk beside you. Leave a comment below to declare it, I am ready to live in my divine prosperity. This is not just a sentence, it is a declaration to the universe. A signal that you are ready for miracles to draw closer. If this video touched you, I'd be so grateful if you hit the subscribe button, because we have many more conversations ahead. Messages filled with light from Florence Scovel Shinn's timeless teachings, shared in a way you can apply to your everyday life. And who knows, maybe one simple message in the next video will be the missing piece you've been waiting for. You can also share this video with someone who needs to hear. You don't need money to be wealthy. Sometimes just one spark from you is enough to ignite hope in someone else. Dear one, the world outside may still be busy, but within you there is a quiet, abundant place, always waiting to welcome you home. Remember, you don't need to earn your worth. You are the worth. You don't need to chase the light. You are the light. Your prosperity journey has already begun, not at the bank, but in your belief. Not on the paycheck, but in your heart. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being brave enough to open your heart. And if one day you feel shaken, come back here. Let these words remind you, you are loved, you are guided, and you are worthy. See you in the next video, where each message is a door into healing, abundance, and awakening.